All right. What's going on, everybody?
Hey,
I'm
happy
here.
beautiful hump day. If you're not watching on a Wednesday, I don't know what to tell you.
Yes. Although you could be listening on a Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Sorry.
yeah, or watching or listening on a Wednesday. It's all good. It all works the same. Um, all right. So, well, this is 2026. Today we were going to talk about the Tacoma. So that's at least one car that was on your drift list.
Yeah.
So maybe you don't have to sell it and you just drift it.
Yeah, because I've moved it a couple times now because we've had snow. So I've moved it around the lot to keep the lot clear.
Yeah.
And you know, cold conditions, maybe snow on the ground. Even it's a small car, so it's like a 2002, I think it is. Um,
Hmm.
it's the extended cab, so you can you still are comfortable in it as a 6 foot tall adult. And man, manual
Right.
transmission, I'll be honest, it just makes you want to do a burnout.
That's awesome.
As an adult, you get in it and you're like, I know there's snow on the ground, I know there's this or that or whatever, but you kind of just want to do a burnout. So just that aspect alone makes you think, well, this could be a fun drift car.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, mm, quick question for you is, so you kind of gave me your initial thoughts on the Tacoma.
Yeah.
And did you have like prior to anything you just said, like you bought the car, what was your thoughts on acquiring the car other than it was a good deal at the time?
Yeah.
Like what was your first thoughts on the Tacoma?
Who doesn't want a Toyota Tacoma for some reason or another?
Yeah,
Um,
I
to
I
have as
definitely
a
feel like
spare Home Depot truck, to have as a four-wheel drive, rock crawler, to have as like a TRD Pro with all the weird stuff on it. People tend to love it, hate it, but everybody somewhere deep down inside has at some point thought about getting a Toyota Tacoma to some degree, or they've been in one and had a good time or whatever, but they're just proven. Their reliability is, other than the rust, the reliability is top notch. And this one was a one owner and it did have the frame replaced under warranty from
oh,
Toyota.
wow. I'm gonna stick with my first thoughts as far as like you mentioning it as a drift car. And my perspective of a truck as a drift car is like, I mean, I just think of the 90s. I grew up on Trucking Magazine, and like I am just a huge lowrider fan, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And lowrider trucks to me were just super cool in the 90s. Like, if I ever got a truck, that's the way it'd have to be. I mean, it was either raised or lowered, and I don't feel like
Yeah.
anybody ever really drove them stock in the 90s in my head. But, I like the idea of it simply on the lowrider aspect, right? Like,
Right.
because I'm sure to drift, you'd probably wanna squat it a little bit and, probably wouldn't do suicide doors or any of the
No,
other
none of the show
lowrider things,
stuff, but
but,
I
none
mean,
of the
who would
show
yeah.
car stuff, but you would definitely get it low, and, I just threw up some stuff on the screen, some lowriders. Let me just see, like this one here, I'm not sure that's not the cab that you were talking about, right?
No, yeah, mine's the extended cab where it's only just like a
Yeah,
half,
this one
yeah,
here,
like
right?
that. Yep, yep.
Oh, that's not the right window.
I should have sent you a picture. I don't know. I think I gave
Yeah,
you it.
I
I think
think you did at one point, but, it doesn't mean I paid attention or saved it.
it looked
Um,
like that, but it's silver.
yeah, which is cool, but, I mean, I think these trucks have great look.
Yeah.
They're not, like, overly large trucks. I feel like today's trucks are really large, right?
Well, it's tiny. I get in it. Um,
Yeah,
and you can I think it has roll up windows, and I think you can just easily reach to the other
yeah,
side and roll up or roll down the window. It's that generation of simple manual
yeah.
transmission, two-wheel drive. Um, Basic. It does have air conditioning if you wanted to, but yeah, power steering, of course, but that's it. Yeah.
I mean, oddly enough, I think it's still, like, 3,400 pounds, which just seems a little heavy for me to me, but,
Wow. Yeah. I can't believe that. That seems a lot, but I mean,
that's that from what I mean, it could be very model specific, right?
Yeah.
But from what I found, it seems like it's about 3,400 pounds. Uh, but I mean, most modern trucks are probably closer to, I think the TRD or the TRX was like 6,300 pounds, if memory serves correct. When I did
That I mean, the,
the TRX.
Wrangler Gen Drives is 5,000. Hers is a hybrid, and that's a Wrangler,
Yeah,
so it has a battery. Modern trucks are closer to compacts are closer to 5,000.
yeah. So
The
that's
half tons
so
and
it's
bigger are
it's
up.
light in comparison to that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So that got me looking at Tacomas,
No,
and
I mean, people are killing it out there with them.
yeah, and
Turbos,
I
V8,
gotta say is like
diesels.
most of the videos I found were people that were preparing to turbo the car. Like you just said,
Right.
I think a lot of them had the same motor that you happen to have, that 16 valve, 1.4 liter. It's like 140 horsepower, and they just so happen to be turbocharging them. There's plenty of room. You can't really do a 1JZ or a 2JZ because you need to do a new transmission. I mean, not that you can't, but it's a whole new
Yeah.
transmission thing. So, that just becomes an extra part of the project, right? So the turbos is definitely the easiest way to add horsepower to this beast. Um, but I mean, I found like 3 or 4 videos on YouTube. I didn't find a ton. I'm not sure what you came across.
Well, so obviously we had a little hiatus there,
Yeah,
but I found stuff a minute ago, and there were people documenting builds. There were people making custom knuckles and different things, but ultimately the thing I found was like, throw a $200 or $300 drop kit on it
yeah.
and a seat so you don't slide out of it. Weld the diff
Is
up.
it a bench seat? I could see it being a bench seat.
It's kind of a bench seat. It's the driver's seat. It's like the split one. So it's like the driver's seat does have a scooch of a
Right.
bucket into it, but yeah, I mean um
Gotcha.
it's not like the full on bucket seat, but
Right.
yeah, I mean throw a seat so you're not spending a lot of energy trying to stay planted and
Yeah, exactly.
realistically weld the differential and you're 100% you're going to have fun and for hours in the parking lot and nothing's in theory going to break. But like that's the thing about the Tacoma that I liked was like the powertrain. This particular truck had a new clutch like 10,000 miles ago.
Yeah.
So, throw a hydraulic uh brake rear brake in it and weld the diff and drop it a little bit so it's stable. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Maybe we're talking you into it then.
I mean, definitely. I mean, the only reason why I wouldn't
Mhm.
is because there's that, the drift tax on certain models. Well, there's the Toyota reliability tax on this car.
Oh, yeah.
I I I fixed 3 of the reasons why I got it cheap. The only thing left is the fuel tank on this particular one is starting to seep fuel. It's not like
Oh, no.
dripping, but it's like has a smell. You can like see it's rusting. And
Mhm.
then you can, whatever. It's not an active drip. So it needs a fuel tank.
Right.
That's the only thing I have left to do on it. Um, but people pay quadruple or more what I paid and got in what I have into it. So it's like, do I ruin a truck that someone could use for years and years and years, and then, or do I just sell it and buy something actually fun?
Well, so that's kinda what I found myself, is you mentioned the rust issues. Most Tacomas of this age, they just rust out, and people don't have them for very long. So if this is a rust-free Tacoma, this is like a $10,000 truck, easy.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I have document. I mean, I know the frame was replaced. I have like, you know, and it's a
Right.
one owner. You remember what I said the mileage was? It's less than 50,000 miles. It's
I don't
yeah.
remember.
So it's a very low mileage one owner truck. So
Yeah.
yeah, to the right person, this has more value than a drift beater that you pick up with 200,000 miles on it. That's got a rusted frame that you just
Yeah.
hack together. So there's that.
I'll
But
yeah, absolutely. it's one of those things too, is like, do you look cool because you're the only guy drifting a Tacoma at an event or
Now I did, and I think I mentioned this before, not all sanctions like the use of trucks for drifting.
oh,
So
interesting.
you do have to make sure where you're drifting it, they have to approve your truck.
Hmm,
So for insurance reasons and high center of gravity and different things, SUVs and trucks in general are banned, and
hmm.
they make exceptions if you go through the process.
So it's interesting because I found a whole bunch of, guys that like to make, drift trailblazers or
Okay, yeah,
Tahoes.
and
I can't remember
I've
if it was a
seen Tahoe.
Trailblazer or a Tahoe, but,
Yeah, yeah,
it was definitely lowered. It was slammed,
yeah.
and it was pretty cool. It was unique. Um, but yeah, I can understand that if you showed up with that tomorrow at an event, they'd be like, "Get out of here. You're rolling
Right.
over."
Yeah, I would have to be slammed to the ground,
Yeah,
so you know that's not gonna roll over, and you'd have to, like they'd have to, like, approve it.
yeah. And so that's definitely a tough one too. And then, that's kinda why, personally, I don't want a car that is convertible,
Yeah, I agree.
you know?
I don't think a convertible has its place in racing, um, other than the fact that there are the Miata series and the Porsche Boxster series,
Yeah.
but,
A
uh
and I'm totally aware of those series, and I
yeah,
totally would love to be in one of those series, and I still don't wanna drive a convertible
yeah,
in a race series.
yeah, yeah.
But
I'm definitely with you on that. Even being a taller person, knowing there's always, by the time you have a roll cage in and all the other things, there's certain model vehicles that just work better for me.
yeah,
And the Tacoma fits in that category. I can easily fit in there and be comfortable, even though it's a small cab vehicle.
right. Um, so
So could you picture yourself driving a Tacoma 4 cylinder and, saying, okay, let's start with X, Y, and Z, like the basics, a good seat, a welded diff, and a hydraulic brakes, and then being like, okay, well, let's see how it does. And then saying, okay, let's add more power. Let's add more power. Let's add camber. Let's add um, extra, higher steering, those like angle kits. Like, could you picture yourself driving one?
yeah, again, I think in the lowrider truck category, I like the idea.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I you know, when we talked about sharing a vehicle, I think this becomes a very comfortable vehicle to share, right? Because you own it right now.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's something that 2 of us could work on, and we could definitely, like, it could be something that we could share until one of us found something different.
Right.
Um, I mean, the one thing with modifications is that, overall, I mean, outside of the hydraulic rear brake, right, the handbrake, it you're not really destroying or damaging it. I mean, you're putting a little bit extra wear and tear on it in the drift event, but, um, if we put a lowering kit on it, well, you can just put the factory stuff back on, and then it's back to normal height if you decided that it wasn't a thing that you wanted to do, like,
Right.
if we get to Englishtown, they're like, "Yeah, we don't do trucks." And then you're like, "Alright, cool. Well, I guess we put it back on 4 by 4 mode." Um,
Or quite honestly, sell it as is because someone's going to buy
yeah.
it lowered too. So yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, so I'm sure that there's a lowrider market as well, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, look, I like the idea of drifting, and as we look into more and more cars, like, if I found if something fell in my lap, I'd drive it, right? Like, that's where I'm at because
Yeah.
as we've talked about, I think seat time is more important than what the vehicle is, right?
I
I
mean,
wouldn't, maybe not, but
no, you could have fun in a Crown Vic. I mean, like, look, I said this today to a customer. The fastest car on the planet is a rental car.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the the most fun you can have is like a slow car going fast, not a fast car going slow. So like what we've always said, and we're repeating ourselves, but it's awesome too because it's getting out there and having fun at a budget sometimes is more fun than saying, all
Yeah.
right, maybe we can afford it, maybe we can't. That's not, but just going out there and having fun and getting seat time in really will determine where we need to go, because you might have fun for a year or two. You might keep the same truck for 10 years. You don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
How would you rate this? So the first car that we did was the Lexus IS,
Yep.
300, and then we've got the Tacoma. Would you change the order? Would you
So I would definitely do the Tacoma over the Lexus, because manual transmission, way more readily available.
Mhm.
I also own the vehicle. I do know how easy it is to just spin over your tires. Lexus isn't anything to laugh at. It's still a good car, but you pay that drift tax. You're paying that Lexus
Yep.
premium. You're paying things for it. And it's also more out there. Like you said, you couldn't find a ton of videos of the Tacoma. So that kind of makes it cool too. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, low rider, yes, desirability, yes, all these other things. But drifting, I feel like it would be potentially the only Tacoma out there, which is also kind of
True.
something that's I think is neat, because you're gonna maybe have conversations with people. You're gonna talk about setups. You're gonna get to like experiment. You're like you and I like I know we're doing it on our own now, but like I'm gonna talk to you about what I'm trying. Like
But yeah.
you're gonna talk to me about what you're doing. But like there's gonna be more conversations versus just like, oh, 900 people have a Lexus and this is what they do, and you just kind of fall in the middle,
Yeah,
you
as
know?
soon as you do these bolt-ons, you're done. But, so there's pros and cons to that, to what you just said, right? Is like it's definitely fun to as you're building something to learn and like, hey, like, do I want a thicker sway bar or do I want a thinner sway bar or is my spring rate the high enough or whatever else, right?
Yeah.
So that's when you start to question is it the parts and the money that I've put at the car, or is it my seat time? And to an extent, having something that's a little bit more cookie cutter and having something that's a little bit more like, hey, you do these 5 things and you're set, right? Like these are the 5 things.
Yeah.
It's proven, just do this. Um, then you're truly dealing with self. Then you're truly dealing with seat time, and that definitely has its advantage to me. Um,
Okay.
because I mean, I think the reason we chose to do this is about seat time, right? Is to get back behind the seat and to start
Yeah.
driving more often.
Affordable fun. Yeah.
Um, now, would I choose the Tacoma over the Lexus because of that reason? I don't know. Um, I think I'm leaning towards the Lexus simply because I'm a sedan. I like a sedan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was gonna be the one. So, like, if it went to, like, the cons, it would be like the con is they're in my mind, to put the energy into this and not being in a circle of drifters, I don't 100% know if they would allow us in at where we go. We would
Oh,
have
because
to,
it's a
like,
different car? Because,
because
like,
it's a truck.
you're the oddball.
Yeah, because if you read the rules, um, uh, they say trucks and SUVs with special permission or whatever the
Mhm.
terminology they use, but it's not like guaranteed you get in.
Right.
So, that does create something that like, well, you could show up, you could spend all this time and energy, and then they're gonna be like, man, you know what? Nah, we're good. We don't want your entrance fee. We don't want the liability.
Right.
We'll take two more Lexus coming through.
And I mean, some of that is like through our years of modifying cars and whatever else, how many times have you just seen people just take a grinder to a with a cutoff wheel to springs and
Oh
chop
yeah.
them to lower their car and whatever else? And I mean, there's obviously a right way to do things and a wrong way to do things.
Luckily, well, good and bad, but I think Chinesium parts has made that cutting thing less of a
Well, well,
something I
that's true.
see.
Yeah.
But like you can go on Amazon or eBay and buy lowering springs for a Mercedes S class if you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they go, who's buying those? But someone does, or they wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Um, but you can get them $200 for shocks for $120,000 car. But Yeah, I mean, you saying that, that does kinda make me reevaluate my decision a scooch, but I'm still gonna stick with the Tacoma over the Lexus. Only because when the Lexus, I could not find one that I would be willing to spend what someone was asking for it.
Yeah. And that's really the tough part, right? And, honestly, I was talking to a local tuner here that's he's more into JDM cars, and, he was telling me, he's like, the Altezas and the ISs, he's like, they're so hard to find parts for. Um
Oh, yeah, because 'cause they're independent rear suspension.
mm,
So, independent rear suspension, you're adding a couple different things. The Tacoma, solid rear axle, they were workhorses. They do rust out, so there's plenty of them in the junkyard. I mean, maybe the Tacoma wins in parts category. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, that's another thing we
yeah.
need to keep in mind, right, is
Well,
how
and
accessible the parts are.
100% they pumped out millions of Tacomas throughout the years. So who knows what you can swap in a solid rear axle. You could, in theory, swap in a Ford rear end. You could swap in whatever.
Oh, I'm sure there's an LS swap for it,
Yeah,
right?
or yeah, yeah. And
So,
whatever engine and whatever rear end you want, you can put it. It's a frame.
yeah.
It's a body on frame. Yeah.
Any other thoughts on the Tacoma? I think
Um, we touched on everything. I think there is still that discoverability factor with the Tacoma based on, there's that, like, we would be a little bit of a pioneer of, we would potentially be the only Tacoma there, which I
right.
think is, which adds some cool factor.
That's true. No, that's true. That's definitely something a little bit more unique, right?
Yeah.
Um, that would definitely be something that's a little bit more unique, a little bit more specific, and definitely something like you said is like discoverable if we wanted to kind of like push it through the channel. Something that's like, hey,
Yeah, I mean, like,
look what these two idiots are doing.
because, like, I'm sure there's tons and tons of videos of it, but, like, we could, or, you could come meet me at the shop. We could throw a cheap turbo on it,
Yeah.
and we could, you know, pull the head and, do a little bit of work to it, inexpensively, and throw it back
You,
together in essentially a weekend, because
yeah.
it's,
I like to port and polish the head. So
there you go. I don't think, if you're adding a turbo, that's we don't need to do that. But yeah, we could, yeah,
yeah, every little bit counts.
yep, yeah,
um, what? Yeah, I don't know. I guess really save that car, sell that car last, and let's see
yeah. I
where we
so
are come April. All right. Well, I think that kind of wraps up our thoughts on the Tacoma as a drift car. Um, let's see if we decide to hold on to it and make it a reality.
I mean, long story short, I think it's a solid overall choice. I think, if I make some
Yeah,
phone calls to the right people and they say, yeah, if you lower it and you can do it, then I think I'm going to give it a whirl.
that's cool.
If they say, nah, it's too much, we're not gonna guarantee we're gonna let you race or, participate, then I'm gonna say off it. Unfortunately, because
Yeah,
I'm not in the inner circle. I don't, like, it's not like my third or fourth drip car. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
right.
not in the circle already. So I'm not at that point. Now, if I still have it for whatever reason and then decide to build it later, that might be something that happens later.
Yeah. Well, you've been selling 7 cars for how long now?
Well, none of them have really been. So I gave one away and I sold one, and yeah, that's as far as I got. I haven't really tried.
Right.
I'm not good at that aspect. I don't like dealing with all that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
you collect them.
not on purpose. I gotta learn to say no.
Yeah, absolutely. "Oh, do you want it?" "Sure." But
Yeah,
not really.
yeah, exactly.
Alright, maybe you'll come across one of our other cars on the list.
Yes,
Um
yeah. Let's give a refresher of the cars to
oh,
come.
yeah. And so, the cars to come, in the coming weeks, so we just talked about the Toyota Tacoma, and we talked about the Lexus, IS 300. It says 200.
I mean, I remember
What
my cars. I just don't remember the order perfectly.
coming up next week would be the RX-8.
Okay.
I think
Don't
I'm
see a
gonna
lot of them come through at all.
what's that?
I don't see them on the roads at all.
Oh, interesting.
Do you see them?
I don't know that I've seen them. Yeah. I see them for sale. I don't know that I've seen them. I don't know.
Yeah.
So then we also talked about the Cadillac CTS, um, which is basically a C5, C6 Corvette. So I think we should maybe talk about all those. I we w you and between you and I, we both chose the 350Z, so I'm gonna bump that further down the list.
Okay.
So we'll do all the cars that we didn't talk about we'll do all the cars that we were unique to you and I, and then we get into, like, we both said Mustangs, we both said BMWs, and we both
Yeah.
said 350Zs. So we'll finish with those. Um, and then, so next week would be an RX-8, the Cadillac, the BRZ, and then that gets into Mustangs, 350Zs, and BMWs. Now, I almost bought a 350Z. There's one I'll
Did
tell
you
you,
go
man,
look at it?
I d dude, I'll tell you, nobody actually wants to sell cars. Um,
Yeah.
you know, like, they say, "Hey, don't," like, it's amazing how every ad says something along the lines of, like, "If it's listed, it's still for sale," and then, like, you look through the ad, and it's like, "Oh, well, I see this in the picture, but I don't see it in the ad, let me ask some questions." So I ask them the questions, and it's like, "Yeah, I don't know, I need to finish doing the ad." It's like, "Okay, cool, but,
Yeah.
well, can I look at it? I can look at it tomorrow or anytime this week." I guess they don't wanna sell it? And
Yeah.
then so then they lower the price, and then you reach out back to them out back to them again, and you say, "Hey, you still wanna sell this?" Like, "Yeah, I can meet you tomorrow." "Well, I don't work local, I work wherever, and this, that, and another thing." It's like, "Alright, cool, well, I'm interested if you wanna sell it." "Well, I don't know." "Okay, no wonder why you've had it for a year."
Yeah. That is the current state of marketplace for sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, just to wrap this up, I'm going to ask you one more time. Maybe you've had a little bit more time to think about it, but I just kind of wanted to refine this a little bit to the podcast. But in 2026,
Okay. Yeah.
what do you see on the horizon for the podcast? Like, what do you see kind of coming up? You kind of just touched base on one thing, if you want to mention that again. But
Yeah.
what do
So
you
I
see?
so right now that I know where you're going with that, I'm gonna say what I would like to do is maybe get some um secondary footage or audio or whatever of like behind the scenes of what I do daily.
Yeah,
Um, because I could send it to you and we could add it in and I could be like, yo, this is something that happened to me this week. And we could talk about things like that. If this is your first time listening, I own an auto repair shop. We work on every model vehicle. I see all sorts of stuff. And then if there's something cool or something unique or something different, I could maybe record it a little bit more or
yeah,
give more insight from my point of view. So maybe documenting things from my point of view of whatever I find cool enough for us to talk.
yeah. That'd be neat. That'd be cool.
And what
Are
what
there
about you?
Again, I'd like to see some maybe go to some more car shows, definitely do
Okay.
some more
Yeah.
drift events. Um, like I mentioned, I wanna go to Wookiees in the Woods, so those are on my agenda. I wanna do some more car cruises. A couple years ago, I would do 1 cruise a month, and, that was a lot of fun, and, more recently, and then, I just stopped. I got busy and I stopped, so uh, that's always tough, but I think, like, it'd be cool, like, because every once in a while I get a Jeep as a rental car. I'd like to
Okay.
do, like, one of those Jeep rank like, jamborees or what, like a mud like, what, like
Oh,
a mud
yeah.
pit thing or something like that, you
Oh,
know?
I've been out to those places. It's so much fun to beat up a Jeep.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, that's fun. Yeah.
Like, just like a Jeep weekend. We could even just rent one, right?
I essentially rented one for 2 years. I have a leased Wrangler. We can beat the crap out of it. I care nothing about that.
Right, yeah, exactly,
It's
so
not
there you
my
go.
car. It is going back to them. We can do whatever we want. Yeah,
Yeah, but I just think that would be cool. It's like, all right, cool. Like we got this thing. We got this thing. We took it to this place and we did this adventure. Like I
yeah.
think that would be like a neat little thing for at least the video end of this channel, right?
Yeah, it's completely different than drifting, but I will say off-roading, uh, vehicles are also like,
Yeah.
I've done that. I've had a Gladiator that I've taken off-roading. I did, well, work to that, and I have a Wrangler now that, Jen drives. We do off-road it, but it's her daily, it is, uh it is surprising amount of fun to put a vehicle through stuff that you're like, "How the hell am I gonna make it up there?" And you accomplish it. That is pretty cool for sure.
Yeah, I don't know like how much I do rock crawls and stuff like that, but I definitely love that idea of those big mud pits. You just drive
Yeah,
through the mud pit.
yeah,
Hopefully you can make it all the way out.
yeah, yeah. Alright, well, we can make that happen. We can
Yeah.
definitely.
We'll see. I can't fill my calendar too much because I definitely want to get some mountain biking into some non-channel stuff. But
Yeah. We got at our age, we gotta stay fit.
absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I lost 10 pounds over Christmas. So
Oh, good for you, good for you.
yeah. So I
I
only have
I
another
refuse to weigh
10.
myself. I'm gonna wait until I'm gonna wait until feel better, and then I'm gonna weigh myself.
Yeah. I like that. So although every time I'm like, great, I did it. And then I stop weighing myself and then I look again, I'm like, man, I just added 6 pounds back.
Yeah, yeah.
And so
It's
I'm
a
not.
it in my point, I mean, this is a whole different topic, but it's all about how you feel versus how much you weigh. So, you gotta take everything for what it is.
Well, true. I'm trying to lose the weight to feel better.
Yes. So that yeah, but you don't have to, like, monitor the scale is what I was saying.
Right. Well, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So absolutely. So, all right.
Unless you're
Well,
drifting, you gotta make sure you got a light rear end.
that's what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get down to drift weight. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So,
Cool.
all right. Well,
Alright.
definitely for anybody that enjoys vehicles and videos, tune in next Wednesday. We will be live Wednesdays now. Hopefully every Wednesday. We will occasionally double up our format, and I'll let you know it ahead of time when we're doing that. For right now, we're going to stick to one vehicle a week, and let's see. We are 2 out of 10 vehicles on our drift list. What vehicle are we going to end up with? What do you think we're going to end up with? Let us know. What would you buy? What would you
I'm
drift?
I'm I'm thinking you're gonna go Z. I'm thinking I'm going BMW, but we'll see. Who knows?
What happens if you go Tacoma and I go BMW?
I'd be all right with that. But I'm just taking a guess at this point. It's anybody's guess. Yeah.
I'm kind of
Yeah.
liking an RX-8 right now.
All right. Hey, if you can find one worth buying.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll see what
Yeah.
happens, right?
All right. Cool. Cool.
All right, cool. I'll catch you
All
later,
right.
guys.
Peace out.
Peace.